Previously on Cars Adventures, City Councilwoman Valerie V8 is trying to run for mayor of Radiator Springs, with her goal being to completely modernize the town, something that the townies are very against. Sally was running against her, but after getting into a very bad accident, Mater had to take over and step in as mayoral candidate. It seemed like an easy victory for Mater. That was until Valerie V8 paid off 15 cars to move into Radiator Springs, forcing all of them to vote for her or else she wouldn't pay them. Hello everybody, I'm Officer Patrick Pace. I have been a police officer here in Radiator Springs for the past 5 years, and it is my honor to be hosting this year's Radiator Springs mayoral debate. The path to becoming mayor is no easy task. You must win over the hearts of the entire town of Radiator Springs, and this year, thanks to interference from a certain candidate, things have gotten even more complicated. I'd like to thank all 15 of you newcomers to the town for making it to the debate today. Trust me, you will not regret listening to it. Now, to introduce the cars running for mayor. She has been a member of the city council for over 15 years, says she knows her way around Radiator Springs really well, but thinks it's time for an upgrade. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Valerie V8. And our other candidate is... Psst, Patrick. Bob Cutlass? Yeah, that's right, it's me. Mater paid me off to do his intro. Don't worry, I got this. Are you sure? I'm supposed to be hosting this. I know, but don't worry, I got this, okay? Just sit back and watch. Okay, then. He's been a Radiator Springs citizen for over 50 years. He knows his way around junk better than anyone else this side of Carburetor County. He's teamed up with world-class spies, famous racers, and more. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Toe Mater! Woo! Thank you. Thank you very much, Bob. Excuse me, guys. Thank you. I am so happy to be here today. And now, without further ado, let's get ready to debate. All right, Cutlass. All right, I'm taking over from here. Oh, man. Mater, Valerie, very nice to have you two here today. I'm going to start off with a simple question. You're elected mayor. What is your plan, your vision for Radiator Springs in the future? Miss V8, if you'd like to begin. Yes, surely, Patrick. Thank you very much. Well, my goal is simply to modernize Radiator Springs. The town as it is now is gross, dirty, decrepit, run by a bunch of cars with their own little one-off small businesses, and who cares for those, right? Who needs Ramon's House of Body Art when you can bring in a chain painting company that is known to be successful? Every single building in Radiator Springs is at constant risk of failure and being shut down. Why have Flo's V8 Cafe when we can bring in an established, famous fast food restaurant that everybody knows and everyone will want to flock to? And of course, we'll need a lot more technological integrations into town, make everything a bit more modernized instead of old and dirty as it is now. Thank you, Valerie. Mater, what about you? My goal is to keep Radiator Springs' current charm. That's the thing about Radiator Springs. It's a beautiful town run by great folks. Yeah, we all run our own little small businesses, but that's what makes the town so special. We're all doing our own thing, and what you get in Radiator Springs, well, you can't get anywhere else in the world. I'm going to make sure Radiator Springs stays as it is in terms of businesses and all that, but I'm going to make sure that everything is better than ever before. Like, for example, we could have free ice cream at Flo's every Tuesday, because, you know, nobody likes Tuesday. Easily the most boring day of the week. I was born on a Tuesday. Thank you very much, Mater. Now, Radiator Springs has been known to occasionally struggle with the amount of customers it gets. Sometimes there are very few, but sometimes there are very many. Valerie, how would you deal with that? Well, it's simple, Patrick. We build buildings in Radiator Springs that make it never not be a hotspot for customers. Like I said, using established, famous chain restaurants and stores will be a great move for Radiator Springs. making sure that cars are always visiting it no matter what. If you see a place you recognize, you're more likely to go to it. And what do you think, Mater? Well, that's a thing with running a business in Radiator Springs. Sometimes you don't get that many people in it. But we can make up for that by doing a lot more fun things in the town. Think, for example, of the Radiator Springs local racing series that Lightning McQueen organized a few years back. That brought a ton of new visitors to the town. If we do more things like that, like maybe special events or sales at the stores or parties or other things, well, then we can surely bring a lot more cars into town during the drag seasons. Alright, thank you very much, Mater. Now, my next question is quite a complicated one. Over the years, Radiator Springs has seen itself to be the target for several notable events, including attacks from several different criminal groups. Valerie, if new threats were to rise up and try to attack Radiator Springs or its residents again, what would you do? Well, it's simple. I know you have all your protectors of Radiator Springs and all that, but come on. Those guys do nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, think about it. Just last year, you had the whole town taken over by some wannabe race car named, what was his name? Aiden? Yeah, that guy. And they did nothing. Everybody in the town just ran away. All of our lives were threatened, Valerie. We had to leave the town. If you were there, you would have understood. If I were there, I would have called up the proper authorities, like, say, the police cars you have in town. Oh, wait. One of them is slow and old, and the other one is the one asking the questions here today. So let me ask you a question here, Mr. Pace. Why didn't you do more to fend off against Aiden? Miss V8, as I said, I will be asking the questions here today. And as Mater said, it is a complicated situation, one that you would not fully understand unless you were there. We were given no other option but to hide from Aiden. Eventually, we were able to take control of the town back, and we have not had a problem since. Please stay on task with the question, which was, what would you do if a threat were to rise up again? Get people who can actually handle it when it starts. And Mater, what about you? Well, Patrick, I'd answer and all, but I don't really like what Valerie's saying here. She's not being very nice. In fact, she's typically not being very nice. Just generally speaking, every day, every time she comes over here. Valerie here has very little respect for the cars of Radiator Springs and the town itself. Mater, please stay on topic with the question. I'm sorry. Look, if there were to be another threat in Radiator Springs, I would create several different plans. I would make sure we all had a plan for what to do or where to go in case of an emergency. A way to leave town safely, or maybe a defense system, or more cars in the protectors of Radiator Springs. That group has been very successful in what it does. And you should know, Patrick, you're a part of it. As am I. And I know from first-hand experience that the protectors of Radiator Springs get their job done. Now I'm going to ask you both questions about yourselves. Starting off with you, Valerie. You've garnered quite the reputation amongst the townsfolk of Radiator Springs for having sort of dirty practices, including allegedly paying off several cars to move into town. Several cars in Radiator Springs believe that you are not very likable and have very little respect for the town. What do you say for those who think that of you? I say, get lost. We don't need you in this town anyway. The town as it is dirty and gross, and it's run by dirty, gross cars who are incredibly unlikable. Once the town is under my control as mayor, I will make everything the way it should be, and those cars never have to enter this town again. Where they really should go is a car wash. Come on, have you seen some of them? Now, hold on a second. I don't like what you're saying, Valerie. Oh, right. Well, you see, Mater, just because you got a new paint job for this whole thing doesn't make you any less gross and dirty. You literally marinate in filth every day. You run a junkyard. Now, you listen here, Valerie. The cars in Radiator Springs have charm. Charm. Yeah, you know what else they have? A disgusting stench, especially you. Do you know what a toothbrush is? Now, listen right here, Valerie. Mater, yeah? Mater, calm down. Sorry. It's time to ask you a question, Mater. Okay. Mater, You seem to have a lot of experience, correct? In several different fields. You've been said you are or in the past were a daredevil, a firefighter, a doctor, an aviator, among others. But several cars claim that these are just tall tales. What do you say to that? Well, what I say to that is, if I'm lying, I'm crying. What does that even mean? I have been trying to figure that out for years, Patrick. No clue. And now one final question. Why should the cars of Radiator Springs vote for you for mayor of this fine town? Valerie? Well, it's simple. I am clearly the better option. I mean, just look at that guy. He doesn't even know how to sit at the podium right. I was getting uncomfortable. Now, if you vote for me, I will make sure that Radiator Springs is better than ever by knocking down the buildings and starting anew. And Mater, why should cars vote for you? Because Valerie doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't respect Radiator Springs or the cars that live there. If you vote for me, I'll make sure that Radiator Springs is better than ever by keeping it the way it was meant to be. All right. Thank you very much to our two candidates, and thank you to everyone for joining us today for this mayoral debate. We will now take a few audience questions before wrapping things up. Anybody have any questions? Oh, I have one. Yes, you there, the hearse with flames for some reason. Is there a snack bar here? I looked on my way in, but I couldn't see any. I really liked the curly fries at the last mayoral election debate I went to. This one doesn't have curly fries. Do you have curly fries? We do not have curly fries. Do you have popsicles? I want popsicles. We do not have popsicles either. Do you guys serve pizza here? This is the middle of the desert. Why would we serve pizza here? Just asking. Does anyone have any legitimate questions? Yes, you there, Lizzie.
What time is it? I think it's time for my nap.
It is 2:37 p.m., Lizzie.
Oh, okay, never mind. My nap is at 2:39.
Does anybody have any actual legitimate questions for our candidates? Yes, Luigi. Mater, when did you get that wonderful new paint job? I think it looks great. Legitimate questions about the fact that they're running for mayor. Anybody at all. I got one. Lightning, go right ahead. What makes Valerie think she could drive into this town and expect everyone to vote for her? I mean, come on. She's literally paying off cars to vote for her. Valerie, why do you think any of those cars would ever want to do that? Because money speaks louder than words, Lightning. Pretty sure the phrase is actions speak louder than words, but okay. I paid these cars, so of course they'll do what I say, because they're just simple peasants. Hey, did you just call us peasants? That wasn't very nice. Well, I'm still getting paid for it. Ha! See? Give cars money, and they will do anything, Lightning. I think you underestimate all of these cars. I think the charm of Radiator Springs will win them over more than you ever could. Well, I guess we'll just have to see, Lightning. And we, of course, will see that you're wrong. Thank you, Lightning. Any other questions? Yes, you there, the rusty car. What is your plan regarding the current economical state of the country, including rising costs in inflation, and how do you expect to deal with them? I'm sorry, can you repeat that?